Hey everybody, it's Tuesday.
And welcome to this week's edition of Hook, Line, and Striker.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Emily. And thanks for being here with us tonight. We're laughing because right before the show I was making fun of the noises of, honestly, the what do you call that? The show opening.
Yeah, the show opening.
And I was laughing and I said, wouldn't it be funny if everyone heard me do that? But, I think that's been the theme of kind of the whole last week is just having fun. We had the St. Paul Ice Expo and it just was so great to be able to bump into everybody again and, see the new products that are out and just talk to everybody. So that was awesome.
Yeah, it was fun to talk to everybody. Had a lot of you guys come up and say hi, which was pretty cool. We got to say hi to a lot of the old friends from the shows, so that was fun too. And just running around busy.
And that's exactly it. I think that there's probably even a few people that we had missed in the process because things had been so busy.
Yeah.
There was a couple times that people might have walked up to the booth and it was full.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
It made for an awesome weekend.
Yeah, it did. When you have three staff, we had great, with Luke in the booth with us, and when all three of us are busy at the same time, like that's a lot of people in the booth, especially for trying on suits. And so it was fun though. It was good to get back in the groove and get her done.
And so we are here to highlight a few of kind of the favorite products that people were asking about or were purchasing at the expo, because some of the things we honestly have not spent that much time talking about yet. So some of it might be new to you guys. Mm-hmm. But I'm also interested, if you were able to make it to St. Paul, what were some of the things that you saw, or what were some of the things that you maybe purchased? Or, if you were not able to make it, but you've seen things online, let us know.
I'm just messing around with stuff here.
But let us know, kind of the things that you guys loved from that have come out of the show.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that I'm pretty excited about, I didn't even see it till right towards the end of the show. Those ice anchors we saw.
Deep freeze
ice anchors. They're not even on his website yet. He premiered them at the show. Dang, those things are sweet. It's about time somebody made an inline ice anchor, got rid of the handle, and just right to the drill. It's awesome.
And if you are interested in that, I know that we did a video on that with Crappie Junction, because like we said, we can't refer you to their website yet, but you can definitely go and check that out. We have that quick adapter for the auger. Josh over here just playing with his
trying to turn
all over the place.
Trying to turn my volume down. That's what I'm trying to do, and I can't do it with one hand apparently. Anyway.
Derek is checking in saying that he finds he needs more than one day to take the whole show in. I thought that was just me, and I thought it was just because I worked at a booth, but I hear you. There is just so much to see, and sometimes you don't realize what you're walking past, the first or even the second time. So it's definitely worth multiple walkthroughs.
Yeah, and then, there's a whole bunch of great places to stay down there. The location is just good. There's great places to eat. We even snuck in a Cosetta's run right towards the end of the weekend. So, it really is a multi-day experience. I think you need to take your time through the first level. One, because there's so many people, but two, just because there's so much stuff. And then the other two levels, like you can go through, there's a little less people. You're a little less rushed to get through everything. And man, all the vendors were super nice and super happy this year. They're usually pretty nice, but they were, they were happy to be back.
Yeah, it's funny because it is really an exhausting weekend. But, you normally hear people complaining about their feet a little bit more. And this year, it just, again, I think people were so happy to be back that you didn't hear as much of that. So, feel free to let us know the things that you guys love from the show, but we are going to maybe start highlighting a few of the things that we saw people loving at the show.
Yeah.
And some of these things are even from the Striker booth. So if we can, we will pull them up for you. But I'm going to challenge Josh here for a second really quick because I want to save up this, but can you open up a second tab?
Second tab.
Perfect. All right. So one of the first things that I guess I was going to throw out there is, can you guess it?
No.
No. The Renegade hoodie.
Oh, okay. Let's see if we can do this here. Oh, excuse me. New for 2021 Renegade hoodie. Let's see. Well, we'll just do the charcoal one because that's my favorite color.
So, I hate to talk about things that are sold out, but, as far as new products for the year, this is one that we continue to get asked about over and over and over. And so it is hard to not at least, bring this information to you guys. As you saw, as we came in, it did come in the 3 colors, the charcoal, the black, and then the really awesome green strike pattern.
No, that's the transition.
The transition.
Yeah,
so I'm glad that you.
There you go. See the.
Yeah.
Strike transition. That's a pretty cool one. That'd be a nice one for bow hunting. It's kind of like it's a little pretty similar to that climate liner material. I don't know. Everybody was super stoked about it. We sold out super quick on these. Like, I'm still waiting for mine, but yeah, they went quick. That was a favorite for sure.
But as you can see, it is a totally windproof, and it is water resistant. And so it is, kind of almost like a hoodie fit, but it has the best of ice fishing. So the people who don't like to super bulk up, but it has that pocket that you can throw your things in. This is something that we just got asked about a ton. And as far as being sold out, there is more actually to come. So everyone is kind of working through all the shipping stuff that we've heard about in the field this year. And if you are looking for one of these, let's say in January, this is, I heard it's coming back.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing that we saw that was super popular this year is actually the women's Stella line. I was going to say jacket, but it's like a total bibs and everything. And so you can see here on the website, some of this is even pre-order because again, there's so much more of this coming in. But there is these 3 awesome color patterns that we're kind of showing you up on the screen here. And it's amazing because I haven't even seen all 3 of these together yet because, there was only so much that was out there and everybody came and found it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's super cool pattern.
But truly a suit that is made for a woman angler. It has a really nice flattering cut, but it has those fabulous details. 10 units for pre-order. That's really exciting though. Because people who maybe were looking for them at the show, that option is still available for you. And again, in those bibs, a lot of great details that are meant for a woman angler. So, a lot of the pockets built in. You have that line cutter's tool. You have, it's saying the zipper venting system. You can read kind of all of what's on the screen there, but all of this is packaged up into that fabulous flow technology that everybody knows and loves from Striker.
Oh,
well, I was taking a second to breathe, but then I was turned to check the comments.
Yeah. I'll pick out my one that I thought people were really loving.
Jim, good to see you. Thanks for checking in. George says that he saw us at St. Paul. Thanks for all the info and help. George, that is exactly why we are here. We love to do that kind of thing. And the best part about this, Josh and I and Luke, we're all in the Up North Sports booth. There is kind of a main Striker booth on the main floor, but then there's so much of the product that gets sold through all of the other... What do you call
the other retailers?
The retailers.
Yeah. And Up North is a great retailer, but there's plenty other retailers there. I think there's 3 other retailers that were carrying Striker products.
But with that, there was
Yeah.
tons of other great staff that were around. So, hopefully you got the chance to bump into us because we love that kind of thing. But if not us, then, we had some fabulous other people around that weekend as well. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for hoodies. Where are the hoodies?
In the
logo
yep.
wear. Look at me learning how the internet works. This one was really popular at the show. We had it, we had some of our logo apparel back in the back of the booth, and our little buddy Luke, he suggested that we put it up front, and we did. And these things went super quick.
Well, and I think the thing about it is that we were also wearing them that day. And so there was a lot of people. Honestly, it's hard not to, I was going to say look good and feel good in these hoodies, because it does have that really unique, like, 2-layer design. So if you have never tried on one of these hoodies, I would definitely suggest you do it, because it's not just your regular run-of-the-mill hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. A lot of people were really looking for that design specifically. That flag pattern was really cool, and kind of that white and gray camo behind it. You can tell that a little bit more in person than what the picture displays. But overall, just a really cool sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now what?
Well, I guess as far as other things that were really unique about the show. Yeah, we just talked to Barry last week. Good to see him again. But there's always some really cool things that happen at shows, and sometimes deals and whatnot. And so this year, one of the things that they were doing is they had some free hats. So if you were at St. Paul and you were able to, you were lucky enough to buy some gear and get your free hat. I was really excited because actually the hat I decided to wear today, it's my favorite hat, and it was one of the options. So, if you are one of those people out there who is going to be out and loving your brand new Striker gear, then hopefully you have a really awesome hat to go with it as well.
Well, and shout out to you people at Striker for getting Emily. We ordered a couple more of those hats before we left, and they got them to our house already. So Emily's super excited about that. So thank you so much for sending that out to us so quickly.
And that's a great point, because, we'd pointed out a few things on the website that, aren't quite available yet. But there is so many things that they are available now, and they do ship very fast. So, we cannot, I guess, stray away from the shows without talking about certainly, well, I was going to say the climate and the Predator suits, but how could I leave out the Hardwater at that point? Everybody kind of has a specific suit that is, made for them. These suits are different from each other, and that is on purpose. There's a different suit for each different angler and application. So to be able to sit down with people and kind of look through that and talk through that and find what's right for them is something that I definitely know will be helpful for them down the road in their ice fishing season.
Yeah. I think one is staying on the topic of suits. I think this color in the climate was something that was really popular too. People just gravitated towards that, said that was super awesome. So
well, and it's interesting because on this screen, it is almost looking a hint green, and I would say it is actually like, I don't want to call it a nice brown, because like, what does that mean? But there you go. That looks a little bit more brown than green. And I would say that's a little bit more true to what it looks like in person. So something that is super unique out there, and that some people are actually even considering doing some hunting in. So that is great to hear about.
Yeah. Yeah, that is cool.
Man, some really great comments coming in. Gus is saying Striker shipping rocks. I don't know how they do it. I'm in Pennsylvania. Yeah, I don't know. Let's tell this story really fast because it makes me laugh a lot. I was actually talking to somebody at the expo. I was fitting them for a suit, and I wish I remember what they had said, but what it was alluding to the fact that they assumed that Striker was a really big company. And I asked, I was like, well, how many people do you think work there? And this person, like, without joking, said hundreds. And anybody who, knows Striker knows that is absolutely not true. Like, well under 50. And I think I heard a number way smaller than that, even under 20. So I don't want to just throw numbers out there. And, I want to give you accurate information, but it is well less than hundreds. And so it takes everybody's individual effort, and we work the shows, and honestly, there is staff that went home in between Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday to send out orders that had come in even while the show was going on. So, it takes kind of an all hands on deck to make something like the St. Paul Ice Expo happen. But those people are still driving home on those days to make it happen for the rest of us. So that's awesome. And with that being said, another comment from Gus, but actually a different Gus. And he said that his Apex bibs showed up early. How fabulous and lucky. I know that there is a lot of people who are looking forward to different things coming in the mail to them. And so if you are one of those people, keep your eye out.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Bain, thanks for checking in. Saw you at the show, and we always love that. Can't wait to be on the ice with you. You're talking about your climate suit rocks saved your life a few years ago. I think we talked with you, gosh, was it almost a year ago? Because it must have been ice season. And all I can say is I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah, that's no kidding.
Eric is asking, is there one that will go with my birthday suit? Eric, whatever you put under these bibs is up to you. But really a great point, though, because one of the things that we talk a lot about with people at the shows is to not over layer. Because when people are trying on these different pieces of gear, you hear them say things like, oh, well, I'll have things on under this and I want to have room. And that might be true with gear that you have tried on and worn in the past. But with striker gear, like Josh is showing some of these different, well, it looks like the summer options, quite frankly, but it is so much more than that. When you have summer gear, you have something that is wicking. And that is one of the things that creates a great base layer, is something that will, any moisture that falls on or around your body, or if you sweat at all, you want to wick that away from your body, because that moisture, if it holds close, is what keeps you cold. So actually, great point. There was a lot of attention at the show this year for, I'm stopping because some of this is new summer gear. If you haven't seen this, people, I know we're barely at winter, but this is like hot.
Hey,
process. But
stop
some of the summer stuff makes really a great base layer for winter. So, if you are looking for different gifts and stuff for Christmas coming up, these are some great year-round options.
Heck yeah, I'm gonna wear that all winter time.
I kind of like the idea of having the neck gaiter on it, because then that blocks like the wind in the back on my neck. But it's hard to not like keep looking at all this stuff. Oh yeah, look at this. These high tides, that's a perfect option with that neck gaiter. Eric, thanks for the advice. Anytime, no problem. Oh my gosh. The cool thing about the shows, though, I guess this year, is there was some summer stuff mixed in, and love seeing that. So that was great.
Yeah.
Cool. If you guys were at the show and you saw some other cool things that you loved, let us know what those things were, because we would love to give those things a mention. One of the things about the shows and the expos is that there's a lot of that, like, small shops or like companies run by mom and pop, and, like really unique things that hit the market. So I'm thinking of one of the most unique things I saw, actually, this is going way off topic from, gear, or I guess clothing or layers, but something called the Ice Spy.
Oh, yeah.
So like a really unique buoy system that you're able to kind of put out on the water when it is open water season. And then as the ice forms around it, it is able to tell you how much ice is out there. And they were talking about, you can put it up your cabin up north, and so you'll know kind of what's going on for that. But I also see the application of fishing clubs, and like Lake Winnebago has so many different community organizations that help run, the different aspects of ice fishing on Winnebago. And it would be really cool if some of them banded together for that.
Yeah.
Other than that, you have some fabulous jigs that are out there, fabulous plastics. You have all the shacks and everything that are all set out there. And so it is a great place to come and compare all the different things if you're still looking for stuff for ice season. And with that, we are talking about St. Paul, but I know that there's still the Fargo and Duluth ice shows that are still to come. So if you are in those areas, for some of us, it kind of feels like the show season is winding down here, but there's still more to come. And then after that, I think we're all looking forward to ice season coming up.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of ice season left. Shows in Fargo and Duluth. We might find ourselves at a different one here just for fun.
Unless there's ice.
Well, yeah, we'll see. But that being said, we're going to be checking this weekend for some ice.
That's absolutely true. Gosh, I guess I don't know what made me think of this, but one other thing that was popular at the shows this year, actually, and it surprised me, the Striker boots.
Yeah.
Sold quite a few boots. So, kind of a traditional rubber style boot, but it does have kind of a thick sole on it, so it helps keep you off the ice. But it has, Josh is looking it up, so you know what I'm talking about. But the leg part of it does like fold down. It is a fully waterproof boot. But I like wearing mine folded down because it's easy to put on and take off and walk in. And if I get cold, I can just pull them right back up. So, if you're looking for boots, I know that's always a huge conversation on the online forums and stuff, but definitely something worth trying on if you can find them at a store near you.
Yeah.
Cool. In addition to that, I guess, for people who were not able to make it to shows, there is actually a whole bunch of stuff that is going on right now with the Striker website. And one of the really fun things, this is the tab I had Josh hide in the first place if you were with us in the beginning, the 12 deals of Christmas. So this is actually something that started last week on 12/3. It does go all the way through the 14th, but really some awesome deals that are coming up. And if you are looking for, Christmas gifts or things for yourself, some great stuff coming up. Can you keep scrolling down though? Yeah, some sweet hats.
Also, tomorrow, the hats. Then the next day, sweet tea. These are cool. Sweet fish flag tees. Another beanie.
Oh, yeah, check that out because check this
December
out. Look
12th.
at what I happen to be wearing. Yeah, so I don't know exactly what day that is, December 12th, but 50% off of hoodies coming up.
Yeah.
This is like a really thick, soft one. So if you're looking for a fabulous hoodie, this is honestly, I was happy to see that. I might get one. Predator bibs, 20% off. So if you if you did not get that deal at the show, then I would say that's the day to do that.
Oh.
Cool.
Well, and then always check out, let me go up here. Always check out the clearance. So there's always good stuff in there.
Yeah, that is true.
And if you guys ever have questions, there's a whole bunch of resources here under the Discover tab. Tells you about all of the different fabrics and insulation and all that, everything you'd want to know. And then the strike zone's pretty cool. So it kind of puts out, what we as social media people, kind of puts all of our stuff together in one place. So, we've had Matt Steffen on, he talks about some of his baits. Nick Lindner. Sorry about that. So I mean, there's all kinds of stuff on here. Our buddy Clayton, his YouTube channel. But you have all the Facebook and Instagram stuff here. So, check that out if you guys want something else to look at. That's a pretty cool thing. 1 hour ago, night crappies. Underwater views. So I check that out once in a while just to see what all the peeps are up to. So it's kind of a cool thing too.
Well, and one of the other ways that you can certainly connect with Stryker is through their emails that they send out. Sometimes it's great deals and stuff, but they just put one out about like stocking stuffers. Oh, I always want to show you my phone and it's so hard to see. But there's a whole email here. First of all, it says free shipping on orders over $50. So that's fabulous. But it talks all about stocking stuffers, and it's like a whole bunch of gifts, even under $30. So some awesome things here. Some brand new coffee mugs out. And so I know that there's definitely people out there that love those, some cool new colors. Shout out to you, Craig. But also I'm seeing even a few new things on here. So the line cutter zipper pull comes with a lot of the different gear these days, bibs and jackets, but some people from the past are looking for that. That's something that's available here. And then also new, I'm seeing that there are Stryker blankets available in a nice graphite color and white. So they look super soft and they look super warm and interesting to, run into new products in an email like that. So
yeah.
Gosh, more new stuff to come. Hardwater Hall Sweepstakes. This is another thing that's going on now. Can you tell us about this?
Well, Emily was talking about signing up for the email address. So while she was listing off all the stocking stuffers you could possibly ever want, I was just looking up here. So sorry, the banner, maybe I can get rid of that for a sec. There we go. So up here, there's the Hardwater Hall Sweepstakes tab. That brings you here. You could get a set of Stryker Apex bibs and jacket, a pair of boots, Apex gloves, that sweet USA hoodie, hat, a knit hat, a ball cap, the Otter Outdoors Vortex cabin hub, an MX7 from Markham, a bunch of Lindy tackle, a case from Flambeau Outdoors, 2 JT rods, one being a walleye snare and one being a black rain, a Razor Scout, and some Northland fishing tackle. And all you have to do is put in your email address and your name and your last name. Enter. Click. That's it.
Somebody is going to win that. That's
over $3,200 of stuff.
That's like almost a full setup. Like,
and you have all the way until the end of the year.
Need?
So they're going to be drawing for this, after January 31st. So, might as well throw your name in on that. That'd be sweet.
Yeah. Gosh, I want to win those things.
You can't.
You can't. Oh my gosh. Man, but what a way to, get some new gear to start off the season. That would be fabulous. And I'm looking forward to see who wins that because, I guess that's another thing that happened at the show is that each day of the show, they were giving away an Apex suit. And that was actually super exciting to, watch somebody become a winner for something, packed with such new technology. So, that there's definitely going to be people out on the ice that are warm and happy this year.
Look at this. Jeff's in.
Yeah, me too. Like if I keep putting in my information, does it keep entering me? Gus put a line cutters on all my ice jackets. That's actually really awesome. I found that I love them too. And you can get it from the Stryker website, like we said. But there is also, it's available on the line cutters website, and then you can choose colors and all of that. So that's always really fun also.
So Ryan, Ice by Us, we just got home, a couple days ago, checking my chart. I was looking at it today and it says anything that's below 10 degrees is pushing about an 1.5 to 2 inches of ice per 24-hour period. So if my extraordinary math skills can count that high, we are looking at like just 4 inches just in the next 2 days. So that means that, barring any catastrophic blizzards or significant warm ups
to get both those things.
We should be able to get out on the river at least. Maybe.
Well, my goal is to find not only ice this weekend, but like fishable ice that like we can actually fish on. Because
fish.
well, we did do some ice checking earlier in the season, but
Well, and we could have fished. We just didn't. It was really windy.
It was,
and we were checking other spots too. So
Otter Tail County in Minnesota has 6 to 8 inches. Well,
thanks,
now
Jay.
everybody's going to go there, so I'll make sure to go one county over.
Go find Jay Elmquist. He's on his fishing vacation. Okay, Nathan, you got a big comment here. So thinking about building my own ice rods. I can tie flies, so I think I can do this. How many clunkers do most people make before they get good in general? Nathan, I'll tell you this. First, I'm glad that you mentioned that you tie flies. So that means you have a bobbin, and that means you're going to be
that learning curve will
super
be
less frustrated at tying eyes on. And so if you're not comfortable tying the last eyelet on, be sure to get, if you're doing ultralights, it's tricky to find the right diameter tube for the end, the tip top. We tie ours on. Most ice rod manufacturers do, just because that tip is so small. And that bobbin, you can really wrap it on the tip a lot easier than trying to like spin the rod itself. But the biggest thing, the 2 biggest mistakes that I'll put out there for rod building of any kind. One is not paying attention to your eye alignment. So just make sure that it's lined up straight all the way through the process. And 2, thin layers of epoxy, especially the lighter rod you make, the lighter of epoxy coats you want to make. So like even when you take your, like we use D2, but if you take your flex coat, your D2, any kind of those 2-part finishes, thin it down with some acetone and do your first layer. That'll lock in, that'll soak into the threads, and it'll lock your eyes in place. Let that turn for 24 hours. Put your next layer on, just regular epoxy, and that should be plenty of finish. So ice rods are a good way to cut your teeth. They're short. You can churn them out pretty quick amount of time. And be creative. Emily has a couple she's going to be putting out, and they are creative.
One of the other things though that I was going to say most importantly is rod building is one of those things that if you can see somebody do will make a lot more sense than if you are trying to like read and wing it, because that you'll find you'll have a lot of little questions along the way. So definitely go and watch a bunch of YouTube videos, like as many as you can stand, because you'll start to see the common trends along the videos of what is working for other people out there. And ultimately then you'll be able to kind of make your own method and what works for you and find, Josh was talking about the rods that I make. I like to get cork handles and like do wood burning and like paint it with India inks, so you'll find different aspects of the rod building that you love most. And, some people just like to, put down flat color guides, flat color wraps and everything. And that's awesome because that can make a super sleek, nice looking rod. But some people want to sit down and do, all of the thread weaving and art, and it takes hours, and that's fabulous too. But kind of finding what's going to work for you, especially through YouTube, is going to go a long way for that.
Yeah. And, I think just if I was going to give one more tip, just pay attention to your thread. It goes a long way. It's taking your time, getting your wraps nice and compact, not tight on the rod. You don't want to over tighten like for your decoration or your guides, but you want to make sure that they're compact so you have the least amount of gap between, and that makes it look very finished. And that's again where that thinner finish comes in too.
Overall, though, this is a great time of the year to be looking at building new skills, because we are, in some cases, between that open water and ice time. And so as we're here talking about gear and stocking up on that, for you, it might be jigs or it might be rods or who knows what it might be. George is asking any word on when the Apex gear will be out in a 5X. Gosh, I'd have to look this up online. I think most of our sizes go up to a 4X, and I would have to look and see on the Apex gear. But any feedback that we get from people on sizing and stuff are things that we love to look into. Well, it looks like the Apex online goes to a 3X. But definitely email in to Striker, let them know that those are things that you're looking for, because you are not alone. And that's one thing that we talk about a lot, with people who come to the booth.
Yeah, George. And if you watch their last episode with Barry, he will be the one that gets the word about all the sizing and stuff. And if you watch that episode, Barry's a pretty cool guy. So he'll definitely take that in. And if you don't get an answer by the next time we have him on, which should be in the next few months, then check in then and poke him a little bit.
Brian is asking, is there a large, tall in the Denali line? Brian, you're in luck because I think that they made rain gear for taller people. Well, I know that the ice gear comes with a really fabulous way to kind of hem it.
There's a large, tall.
But there you go. There's a large, tall there for you.
Right there. Here, I can show you. I'm not even lying. Look at, I have it pulled up right here. LT.
We'll put it on order for you. No, I'm kidding.
You have to pay us, so.
No. Oh my gosh. Ryan also talking about rods. We did actually, we may do a rod. Lots of clients were asking about it. Well, tell them they're in luck because I'm about to sell 2 more.
Well, and Ryan, you can, if your clients are asking about that, you can tell them that's our Bass King blank. So I'm pretty sure you got either the finesse noodle or the power noodle, and you would understand which one is which, just by using it. So, pretty sure you got the power noodle, but yeah, that's just a Bass King blank. So if they're looking to start building their own rods, there you go. Just have them measure yours and they can build one.
Perfect.
Be the same.
There is so many great options, out there these days for rods. And we've been getting really into those snare rods from JT. So I know we talked about that in kind of that Hardwater Hall sweepstakes. That's something I'm looking forward to. I do have a few rods that I made that I'm looking forward to using this year. So that'll be a good time.
Nathan. Okay. So we'll take one more question, man. If you have a lot more questions, you can hit me up on Messenger for sure. Or let's get a gang of us rod builders together for Thursday night show, and we'll just do a bunch of Q&A. I would sit here and talk rods all night long. If that's what you guys want me to do, I can do that. I love building rods. But is there a tool? There are tools, but the best tools are your dual optical scanners, is one of our favorite characters on the TV likes to say. No, you just line it up. Especially with these smaller rods, they tend to not be perfectly straight. So they tend to kink off to the side a little bit or whatever. So even if you do have a tool to line it up, like a laser, especially ice rods, you're not going to get a perfectly straight blank. It's going to curve one way or the other. So you want to be able to line it up and play to where the rod wants to lay, if that makes any sense, or to how the rod wants to bend.
And if it doesn't make sense, then get a hold of us and we can either talk about it more or refer you to a video.
Absolutely.
But, if you guys do any kind of, I'll call it tackle crafting, if you are pouring jigs or powder painting or any kind of painting for that matter, I guess if you are an open water fisherman, this is a fabulous time to be picking up an airbrush and, getting all of that in line because, you have plenty of time before open water season comes back. Thank goodness. But there is so many different hobbies that we've talked about along the way. Even creating our leaders for our tip-ups. Sometimes I will put a bunch of beads on there and it's amazing how much fish can like that. That's a great thing to even be doing with your family during this time of the year. Yeah.
And that being said, that reminds me. So I legitimately just did a remake of a jig that I was having a hard time finding. I did find some and I will give you guys one sec.
I have no idea what he's going to give you guys. This is a really interesting thing, even to me. Hey, Mike, how's it going? Love that people continue to check in throughout the show. So if you're here, thanks for joining us. If you saw something at the shows that you loved, or if there's still something that you're looking around for, that's what we're here talking about. But otherwise, if you have an ice report, that's something that we are interested in as well, because to be honest, at last check, we did not have ice, but with our extremely cold temperatures here, I know that we do now. Josh is back, so I'm like, now I'm interested. Like, what are we looking at here?
Sorry, I was digging through our filing cabinet for the receipt. So this is something that's been around a long time, and some of you guys that are in Canada or Minnesota might recognize these. But these are something called, this jig is called the Jigabit. And
he's got a bunch of hooks stuck together. That's what he's digging through.
So that's, you can't, there you go. So if you see, it's kind of on a kale hook. I think that's how you pronounce it. So that's something that I found a long time ago when I was in high school, and I fished up at Lake of the Woods, and I've had them in my tackle box. I've used them a lot. And then I went to go get my stuff set up this year and realized I only had 4 left. So I ended up having to like home make a mold for it. But then I found at Tom's Tackle, can't see that, but Tom's Tackle has these in a bunch of different sizes, and those are great for bobbers and set rods. And that style of a hook works very similar to a circle hook, where as long as it's sharp, even if you miss a bite, it should hook into the corner of the fish's mouth or on the top of their mouth. If you don't miss a bite, you can still set the hook, unlike a circle hook. And that design was designed by Eagle Claw Hooks. And this jig is a homemade design, and there's only 2 tackle makers in Minnesota that make it. And Tom's Tackle is one of them. So that's my little tip. Those are great walleye hooks. So there you go.
That was awesome. I know that you have kind of this pink color here, but I imagine that there's others available, but pink tends to be a favorite as far as fish goes, or as far as my fishing has gone. But if you guys have different tips going into this ice season, let us know what that is, because I love trying different things going into the year. And one of the other things I've been hearing a lot about as far as set rods and tip downs, all that, is actually really downsizing the size of the hook. So I love the application that you're bringing up and all of that. But, I think everyone does things different. And that is what's cool about this. So I know at St. Paul, we ran into a few setups and people were using trebles that were like so tiny, you would literally almost not believe me. But we are going to be putting out a few videos about those things coming up. So keep in touch, but how about stay tuned and we'll be posting some of those things. And so you'll be seeing them coming up here.
Also, one thing I want to throw out there is that, sometimes at the shows, you don't find something or someone that you were hoping that was at a show. So, maybe for future reference, let's get a list going of like what stuff would like to people need to know, like what do we want to see at shows, so if there's a tackle or a bait or a personality, that you didn't catch at any of the shows so far or won't catch this year, if you've looked at the lists of seminars and stuff coming up, throw them in the comment, because that would be really cool to just like start putting that info out there, and maybe we can make the shows more customizable to you guys. That's who they're for.
Well, and with that, we have spent a couple episodes here kind of talking about the shows and the expos and the things that go along with that. But you guys, don't you worry. We have a bunch of fish talk that is coming up.
Yes.
And honestly, next week we are kind of back to our regularly scheduled shows, if you want to call it that. I believe that we have Dustin on next week. And so there's going to be all kinds of fishing to talk about. And I am really excited for that.
Absolutely. hopefully we have some fishing to talk about, and Dustin has some fishing to talk about.
And if nothing else, then we will have an ice report and I guess the changing weather report to go along with that, because it's hard to give one without the other at this time of the year because conditions can be changing so fast. But, again, if you guys are out on the ice, let us know how that's going for you guys too, because if I don't have ice, I might just get in the car and start driving. Don't worry, I throw all my fish back. Oh my gosh, awesome. So I guess I don't really have anything else on my mind. Did you have anything else?
No, I think I'm good. I gave away my one walleye secret, if you can call it that. And I think it was a good little talk tonight. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And with that, looking forward to seeing you on next week's episode of Hook, Line, and Striker.
Night, everybody.